Here we go. I think we can jump on over to Jared's screen and see how this works.
So if you can see the screen right here, you're looking at a regular Gmail interface. This is for a demo domain that we have called Avatardy. But otherwise, this for the most part looks pretty similar to what you're used to. What's different though is in the bottom of the screen, we see a row here for AwayFind. This is our contextual gadget. And what you can do is you can say that if I receive a message from Ryan, what I want to happen is I want to get a direct message, for example. Or maybe I want to get an IM. And I only want that to happen, though, for the next day, because right now we're working on a project, and but after that, I won't necessarily need to get alerted right away when Ryan emails me. So I could just choose those options, click create, and that's it. And the next time I go to a message that's from Ryan, I'm not going to see it taking up that much space, but I will see that Ryan becomes highlighted. You'll see that hopefully in a moment.
Yeah. So you're pretty much just setting up rules then.
Yep. They're really light, basic rules that expire. And I'm realizing what I just did here on my end. I logged into another account while I was doing this, so I'll fix that while you go over to there. But yeah, so that's basically the idea. Is it's rules, but rules that can expire.
Sure. Now, here's a quick question. One thing that this is trying to do is, obviously create a filter so that you're only getting the important messages. But on the AwayFind site, someone can just still fill out a form to contact me. Now, everyone thinks their messages are the most important. So what I'm wondering is how much, less important stuff still makes its way through.
Sure. As of now, the product is mostly rules based. Sorry, I just wanted to log out of my account here. So what that means is you're not going to get notified of things you don't want to because you're choosing specifically who is going to notify you. So in this case, it's specifically messages that are from Ryan that are going to come to me, whereas it's not going to be messages from, say from everybody. So if you choose the wrong people, yes, you might get notified by the wrong, message, but it's not going to be, people don't generally set up that many alerts. It's usually, you're going to meet with somebody for lunch in the next few days, and you want to get notified if they message you. There's a particular project that's particularly urgent. It's things like that. So you're not going to get extra noise. What we're working toward, though, is helping people to choose the very specific people that we think are urgent to them, not necessarily important, but actually timely and urgent. Yeah. And we're also, putting in some intelligence so that we can actually predict those kinds of things.
Yeah, that's interesting. I was going to add those. I had actually two questions. One is, I'm sure a lot of people are thinking this as well. I use Gmail. I have filters that I've set up. I use them a lot in folders for a lot of different things. How is this? And I sort of use that to do what this application does. What do you do that's different from Gmail's inherently inbuilt folders and filters?
Sure. What's different from us is two different things specifically. One is that we're sending messages to other communication media. So, for example, we're sending to SMS. We actually have the ability to call people and read them a message. We can send SMSs internationally, which is something that even in the beta features of SMS that Gmail has, they don't offer. We can send to IM. We're going to have an iPhone and Android client, so that's another place that we can send messages that that they can't do. And then the other big thing is we can expire our messages. So those are kind of like the basic things that are different, but then on the other end we have, of course, that contact form that Amanda had mentioned, which is a neat way of allowing people to alert you with an emergency without having to see your cell phone number. So this is really good to put an out-of-office message. A lot of our users put this in the signature at the bottom of their email. Instead of giving out their cell phone, they say, if there's something urgent, fill out this form. And what's nice about it is it doesn't take up that much space in your mind, because it's only going to take up to 2 SMS messages, which really doesn't interrupt you that day that much.
And not only that, Jared, but also in terms of the drop-off rate for people who fill out forms, the conversion rate for forms is fairly low the more fields that you put in. So unless it's really urgent, I think the fact that you're doing a form is probably helping people to stop and think, is this really worth it?
Right. Got it. There's a lot of talk to the form.
Yeah. Oh, we have a question from the chat room from our bud, Jay Praz. He wants to know that what's preventing Google from building this themselves?
There's not much that prevents Google from doing anything, to be honest. But I mean, what we're doing that's a little bit different is we're cross-platform, so we support Exchange, we support IMAP. We support Gmail, of course. We're going to be supporting other providers. So you can actually have multiple accounts. So that's obviously one of the big differences.
That's what I was going to ask, yeah.
And then on the other end, we're supporting other services as far as distributing. So what I don't see a lot of these companies doing is creating applications in a lot of different places. I mean, we're going to be in Outlook natively, and we already support Exchange natively. So that's just stuff that I just don't see Google doing. What our product will eventually grow into is kind of a lot of education in terms of how do you escape from your inbox. Whereas if Google adds something, they'll add a little feature, but they really won't get into a lot of the benefits and a lot of the explanation for how to set things up in such a way that you spend less time in your inbox. That's not really a goal of Gmail, is to keep people away from their advertising.
Yeah, that's true, actually. That's a very fair point. What about the level of granularity? I mean, how many rules can you really put, and what makes the most sense in that regard?
And I apologize that my screen's not coming up right now.
That's all right.
But no, you can set things based on any rules you could think of. It can be the from, it can be the to. So in the actual AwayFind user interface, you can get to a lot more detail. You can set things like how many people have been sent in the to field, so that if a message has more than 4 people, it's probably not personal. You can set things like keywords, and we also give you a list of the people who we think you're most likely to find as urgent contacts.
Nice.
So sort of you predict.
Yeah. So, and they're building more intelligence into it.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Jared. I encourage everyone to check out AwayFind, awayfind.com.
Yep.
And what's the Twitter handle, Jared?
The Twitter is @AwayFind.
And what about you, if people want to follow you as well?
Well, thank you. I am at @TechnoTheory.
At Technotheory. And actually, I wanted to make sure everyone knows, also go to YouTube, because Jared has a great account on YouTube under Technotheory as well, with lots of these demos. So if you want to
very cool.
if you want to see the actual demos of the product, then he's got a number of different videos on YouTube.
Very smart.
So we'll make sure we get that link up.
And those are all on the demo pages of AwayFind as well. So,
Sure.
But I really appreciate you having me, Amanda and Mark. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Definitely keep in touch.